Top 16 games with the best graphics of 2017. Year on year, video games continue to grow in terms of technical achievements, reaching new heights and touching new milestones with ever-growing frequency. 2017 has been an excellent year for our industry in a whole lot of ways, and this is surely one of them. There have been a lot of great-looking games over the past 12 months, and as the year draws to a close, it's time for us to take a look at the ones that stood head and shoulders above all others. Before we get started, please take note while picking these 16 games, our primary focus was on technical achievement above anything else, rather than pure artistic excellence. So while games such as Persona 5 and The Legend of Zelda, for instance, are undoubtedly gorgeous to look at, they just couldn't figure into our final 16, owing to the very nature of our criteria for this category. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. 16. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 dropped the ball in more ways than one, and quite monumentally too. But the one area it managed to be a complete success was the visuals department. Just like its predecessor, Battlefront 2 was an absolutely gorgeous game, a complete technical marvel. It was beautiful to look at, whether you played online or offline, as it brought to life several varied and iconic locations from the Star Wars universe with great style.
The Empire's time has come.
15. Hidden Agenda. Hidden Agenda may not have succeeded at all the things it tried to do, but the area where it knocked the ball out of the park was its visuals. The game boasted of gorgeous, photorealistic visuals, and while some of the character models were not quite as good as some other games in the same genre, such as Until Dawn, it was still an impressive game all around, as far as the graphics were concerned.
I'm going in alone. Tell me the truth.
I did not kill anybody.
Hey! What's going on?
14. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice crept up on us out of nowhere, amazing anyone and everyone who came within touching distance of it with its sheer brilliance, which was made even more notable by just how crowded this year was. That brilliance oozed from every aspect of the game, especially the visuals. Hellblade was full of striking imagery and haunting environments, and more importantly, it had the technical backbone to support those heavy ambitions.
Sin must carry his vessel to bring him back home.
13. Call of Duty WWII. Call of Duty went back to the Second World War this year, after having moved further and further into the future with each successive installment over the last few years, edited so in style. The visuals of WWII had a kind of polish to them that had been lacking in Call of Duty titles for some time now. Excellent character models, smooth animations, and gorgeous environments all came together to bring the war to life in brutal and hugely effective ways.
How many casualties? We executed the mission. Get me the fuck out of here!
Lieutenant, tell them what we're all about.
No mission too difficult. No sacrifice too...
12. For Honor. For Honor has to commend it for managing to capture so many different aesthetic styles so well. No matter what map you played in, no matter what character you played as, the visuals consistently did an excellent job of lending an air of authenticity to the game. It was a game characterized by beautiful technical visuals, with intricately detailed textures, great weather effects, impressive draw distances, and wonderful animation quality.
The reason they fight, lost to the ages.
11. Forza Motorsport 7. The Forza Motorsport franchise has been a frontrunner in the field of technical achievements ever since its inception, and with this year's release, Turn 10 continued that long tradition. With beautiful lighting, excellent weather effects, and almost photorealistic environments, Forza Motorsport 7's beauty is jaw-dropping. On the Xbox One X, the game goes even one step further, and definitely has to be one of the best-looking games ever created. Injustice 2. Injustice 2 is without a doubt one of the best fighters to have been released in the last few years. And that quality went beyond just the content. Injustice 2 is an excellent-looking game, with great character models across the board, excellently directed cutscenes, and beautiful, flashy-looking fights, which all came together to make for a delightfully bombastic package.
Put the devil on the other side, and I will show up. Evolved. Adapted. And prepared. To fight.
9. Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 proved to be a major directional shift for the franchise, but thankfully enough, it was absolutely the right direction to head in. The game's first-person perspective proved to be an excellent design choice, as it successfully brought back the palpable sense of tension and horror the series was known for, while its visuals also did their part. Capcom crammed the game full of detail and visual sheen, all of which contributed to the atmosphere in excellent ways.
They're all dead.
This house has seen more than you can imagine, and it knows.
No, leave me alone!
Wait!
8. Destiny 2. Destiny 2 didn't deviate much from its predecessor in terms of visual design, but that actually worked in its favor. It sported the same strong aesthetic that worked so well in the first game, lending great personality to every location you visited, while Bungie's typical visual flair was also on display. Each planet you visited had its own distinct flavor, while the fact that Bungie were no longer being held by last-gen hardware meant that there was incredible attention to detail in every corner of the game.
So I ask you, who will stand with me?
Yeah! Really, guys?
That was inspiring.
Also, there will be a ton of loot! Yeah, right? That's what I thought.
7. Project Cars 2. Project Cars 2 may have had its issues with things such as artificial intelligence and bugs, but there's no denying that it was an excellent-looking game. Every car model was built to perfection, both from the inside and the outside, while the tracks themselves were also brought to life with great care, with things such as its illumination system and physics engine playing an equally important role. It may not be on an equal footing with direct competitors such as Forza Motorsport 7, but this is still one of the best-looking games of 2017. 6. Uncharted, The Lost Legacy. Naughty Dog are absolute masters when it comes to producing stunning and beautiful games on consoles, and the Uncharted series has long been a symbol of that mastery. With Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, they managed to outdo even their incredible achievements in Uncharted 4. The forests and hills of India were beautifully rendered, the performances of all the characters were top-notch, while the game was also crammed with tiny, ridiculous details in typical Naughty Dog fashion.
disc. And some guns. And some guns.
Sorry, mate. What took you so long? Had to catch a train, love.
5. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. While Ghost Recon Wildlands was bogged by significant issues that held it back from true greatness, it still has to be one of the best-looking games to have come out on any system over the last few years. From its snowy peaks to its gorgeous lakes, its dense forests to its urban locales, Wildlands was a sight to behold from start to finish.
Deciding who will live and who will die. We are ghosts, and we do not exist.
4. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Wolfenstein's successful revival continues The New Colossus continued William B.J. Blazkowicz's tale of fighting against Nazis, and it did so in glorious fashion. This series has never shied away from brutality and violence, and the explosion of red that dominated your screen every time you mowed down a Nazi made the already thrilling action that much more exciting. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus was an absolute spectacle, with top-notch visual quality, and some of the best directed cutscenes you will ever see in a shooter.
My brothers and sisters of the United States of America, tonight, we the free people of the resistance ask you to become one of us.
Gran Turismo Sport. Gran Turismo games have always been technical marvels, always pushing the hardware they are made for to its absolute limits, and Gran Turismo Sport was no different. It was an inherently beautiful game with crisp, sharp visuals and very little performance issues to speak of. What's more, a lot of the strengths that were to be found in its rival launch, Forza 7, were present here as well. Excellent lighting, great looking tracks, and wonderful weather effects, to name just a few. Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games have always been known for churning out some of the most impressive visuals for games on consoles, but they really outdid themselves with Horizon Zero Dawn. Not only was it an absolute beast from a technical standpoint, it also boasted of some of the most evocative, beautiful art we've ever seen in a video game. Everything from the mysterious and beautiful world to the dangerous and imaginative mechanical beasts that populated it were crafted with immaculate attention to detail, truly bringing its gorgeous setting to life. Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed made a momentous comeback after having taken a year off in 2016, and it's fair to say that, for the most part, it was a triumphant return, especially in the visuals department. Assassin's Creed Origins brought the wondrous setting of ancient Egypt to life in a thoroughly convincing fashion, all thanks to stunning visuals and immaculate attention to detail. A game this big was bound to be plagued by a few technical issues, which Origins admittedly was, but as compared to past entries, such as the notorious Unity, for instance, such faults were much less pervasive.